DJI released a firmware update for the Mini 2 on January 1st of this year, and along with the typical bug fixes and improvements, there were a couple of notable features added as well. A 2x zoom option for photo mode, and up to 60 frames per second for 2.7K video. Today I'm going to talk about both of those new features and one bug fix that actually corrected an issue I was having. There's lots to talk about, so let's get into it. The new firmware can be updated right from the DJI Fly app, but if you're having trouble with that, you can also download it via the DJI Assistant 2 app, which is available directly from DJI.com. Once you have the new firmware installed, make sure your DJI Fly app is at version 1.22 or higher in order to see the new features. Now, besides those two new features, there were also some significant improvements and bug fixes. According to DJI, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectivity was optimized, providing a faster, more stable connection. Flight stability was increased in some scenarios. There was a fix for an abnormal color issue in panoramic DNG photos, and they also fixed a rare issue where an abnormal texture was appearing in the upper left corner of 4K videos. That last fix was good news for me because on some of my 4K footage, I was seeing a batch of gray pixels in the top left-hand corner. It didn't happen all the time, and it was easily eliminated with a slight crop, but I planned on logging a support ticket, so I'm quite happy that DJI caught it and fixed it. Anyhow, let's talk about those new features. Right out of the box, the Mini 2 came with the ability to zoom in on your video up to 4 times on Full HD and 2 times on 4K. This latest firmware update, however, now brings a 2x zoom to photos. But just like the feature for video, this is not an optical zoom, it's a digital zoom, so you should not be expecting high quality results. If you shoot JPEG only photos at a 4:3 aspect ratio, hit that 2x zoom button and take a photo, you get a 2x zoomed image at full 12 megapixel resolution. If you shoot JPEG plus RAW, you still get your zoomed in JPEG file, but you also get a DNG file that gives you a bit of a behind the scenes look on how the 2x zoom effect is done and the ability to undo it. A DNG file created with 2x zoom contains metadata to tell it to crop the photo in half, both horizontally and vertically. So a 4000 by 3000 pixel image temporarily becomes 2000 by 1500 pixels. And that's effectively the 2x zoom. Next though, this 3 megapixel image has an upscaling algorithm applied to it to generate 9 million pixels, and the resulting JPEG image is back to the full 12 megapixel resolution. Of course, as you would expect, with that many pixels being generated, the quality is not very good. Looking at the zoom versus no zoom image, the 2x image is quite soft and grainy, nowhere near the quality of the zoomed out image. Now, these images are just not going to hold up for any use that demands high quality. However, I do think the feature could be useful for zooming in on objects in real time that you simply could not get close to otherwise. Now, one last thing on the 2x zoom. If you look at the DNG file sizes for a normal and zoomed image, you will notice that they are exactly the same size. Now, why is that? Well, it's because the crop is done non-destructively. It's more of an instruction to crop rather than an actual reduction of pixels. And depending on what photo editing software you use, it may or may not honor the crop at all. If I load a zoomed DNG image into Affinity Photo, which is what I use for photo editing, it shows me the entire image, no crop. If I load that same image in Preview, I see the cropped version. The point here is, if you shoot RAW, you have a second chance to redo that zoom in post. You may choose not to zoom at all, zoom in less, or maybe just move the crop to a different part of the image. Shooting JPEG plus RAW gives you that option and is one of the reasons I always shoot RAW. The other major feature that was included with this firmware update was 48, 50, and 60 frames per second frame rate for 2.7K video. Now, this is a feature I am very interested in and I do think is actually quite useful. If you work on a 24 frames per second timeline and shoot 60 frames per second video, you can slow that footage down to 40% of regular speed. That's less than half of normal speed, and it really makes for some very good slow motion footage. Sure, it would have been nice to have the faster frame rates at full 4K resolution, but trust me when I say that 2.7K is the next best thing. I went out and captured a bunch of different 2.7K clips at 60 frames per second, upscaled it to 4K for this video, and to my eyes, the upscaled footage looks very good. Pretty much indistinguishable from the footage I shot at full 4K resolution. Having this slow motion option is so great because not only can it help to reduce the visual impact of shaky footage, it's also an awesome tool for visually emphasizing details that may be otherwise missed in real time. So yeah, with this update, there is now a fantastic option for adding slow motion footage to your Mini 2 videos. The Mini 2 just keeps getting better and better. And that's it for this one, guys. As always, thanks so much for watching. Please hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, you guessed it, I will see you in the next one. Bye.